Once upon a time, there was a coach named Lauri who was asked to tell a story that ended up reawakening her, transforming her, and changing her life. I'm Lauri Smith. I'm the Chief Empowerment Officer at Voice Matters, and I help people stand in their power and speak their truth from the bedroom to the boardroom to the TED Talk stage. Sharing our stories and being witness sharing them can be a sacred and an empowering experience, and I'd like to share mine. I am the Lauri in the story, and the story that I was asked to write was my own eulogy. I was in a conference center in the Redwoods with about 15 other people in our room, and things started out pretty good. I wrote, "Here lies Lauri Smith. She opened the hearts and ignited the voices of masses of people in her too short life. She loved and lived fully and taught others to do the same." Pretty good, right? The problem was, it was a lie. The sentence that got me, she lived and loved fully. I knew in that moment that I had been shitting all over my carpe diem value, a value that I had held dear since I was a young girl. I'd been in a kind of cryogenic slumber, frozen on the inside and sleepwalking through my life, living a half-life. I was very committed and dedicated to my calling, my hero's journey, aka my career. What I wasn't doing was living. A while after that, my mother passed away suddenly while I was in the middle of writing my first book, Your Voice Matters, a guide to speaking soulfully when it counts. And I dedicated the book to my mother. And in the dedication, I wrote, "For my mother, Beth Ann Smith, who taught me to love deeply, live fully, and do what I can to help others by being myself and sharing my gifts." I hadn't realized at the time that some of the words that I wrote in her dedication were the very same words that I'd said back in the eulogy exercise. And at her funeral, as I sat there in her celebration of life, I was very moved. I was watching person after person that she had touched, getting up and sharing stories of how she had touched them. And here's the thing, she didn't have that impact through her career. She wasn't working at trying hard to impact other people's lives. She touched them by living, by being deeply present and connected with them and laughing with them and adventuring with them. And I knew in that moment that I wanted the same thing for myself, that I wanted to do the work that I was doing, and I wanted to impact people by being alive. And as I emerged from the initial fog of grief, a kind of clarity set in. Every single decision in my life was easy, and one of the first ones that I made was to dub the next year the year of Carpe Diem. 365 days of commitment to living and loving fully. And I dove right in. The two areas that I wanted to thaw out or continue the thaw, where I had gone numb and had gotten frozen, were theater and my love life. And I started the year by doing the Theater Bay Area auditions. These auditions are the biggest auditions of the year, and I returned to them without having acted in 5 years. I was taking risks. I was showing up fully. And then the very next day, it seemed, I was risk-taking by going to speed dating conventions. And I was really opening my heart and asking my friends to connect me with people that they thought might be a good match for me. And now I'm living carpe diem. My life is very different from the life that I had back when we did that exercise in the redwoods. And I would have thought that all of this open-heartedness in other areas of my life and this adventuring and carpe dieming would have hurt my career. But in reality, the opposite of true is true. Every part of my life nourishes the other parts of my life. The more authentic I am in my relationship, my love life, and as an actor and artist in my acting career, the better I get at helping other people to stand in their power and speak their truth. Because I'm walking my talk now. I'm taking risks and creatively expressing myself all the time in the theater. And I've looked into the eyes of my squozzle mate and seen his soul and felt his heart. And I've allowed him to look into my eyes and see my soul and feel my heart. And right now, in this moment, as I'm owning my story and sharing it with you, I'm getting to an even deeper level of clarity. Sharing it out loud in a public way, being witnessed, is making it more real. It's like I'm saying to the universe, yes, yes, more of this, please. Showing up, owning your story, and sharing yourself, and letting people see you and feel you is a sacred, empowering experience. And if you can do that, if you can show up authentically in front of a small group of people, it becomes easier everywhere else in your life because you've shown up that way and opened your heart in the hardest place. If you want a safe and sacred space to find your voice, to excavate your story, cultivate your story, own your story, and share your story, take a look at the link that accompanies this video. It'll take you to the Own Your Story program. Go ahead and apply if it speaks to you. And then after you apply, you and I will get a chance to meet, to become present with each other, to get to know each other, and to feel out if this is a good fit for you and if it's the right time. I would love to witness your story. And thank you so much for witnessing mine.